If you're watching this video, then you already know exactly what's happening. This is Can You Beat Fallout New Vegas with only unique weapons. So that means unique armor, and you guessed it, unique weapons only. And that also means that I can't repair any of the unique weapons or armor I get because I want to have some diversity. I don't just want to pick one and then use that only for the run. Otherwise it would just be such and such weapon for a New Vegas run. And so that is basically the only requirement. I can side with anybody that I want. I don't have to kill anybody. I don't have to do anything else. And as usual, I'm going to spin the wheel for a DLC. And that's all. So why don't we just get into the run? Now this is going to be a trend in this New Vegas run, and many of the files were lost or the recordings were scrapped because I accidentally didn't capture in the right resolution. So unless you wanted to look at the top left corner of the game for 90% of the run, then well, you're just going to have to deal with it, sorry. And that includes the first part of the Good Springs gunfight, town fight, thing fight. The only thing you really missed was that my name is Original Audrey. I have 10 in luck because I was going to completely cash out the casinos and would be banking on critical hits. And that I have a high perception and agility because I was going to need to be extremely proficient in most guns. Oh, and also a decent level of strength to carry them all. Moving into level 2, I obviously spec'd all my points into guns, and then had a toss-up between Chez La Femme and Black Widow because I wanted to actually have sex with Benny. But I also wanted to try and romance Corporal Betsy because I knew that she had a thing for girls, and in the past I had tried to romance her as a boy, but unfortunately my advances were stopped to a complete halt. I also made a rule that due to having all the DLCs, because I'm rich and you're poor, that I would only be able to keep one armor and one weapon from the initial DLC packs at the start of the game. So I took the lightweight metal armor and the sturdy caravan shotgun because, well, you know, the lightweight metal armor is really good in the way of damage resistance and, you know, just being lightweight, and the sturdy caravan shotgun is cool as fuck. After passing Easy Pete out on his morning stroll, I would be heading to Sloan to get some free XP by healing Snuffle's leg, because he is just so cute and deserves it. I'm not a cruel monster. And as you can guess, I am going to be doing the Black Mountain shortcut because I cannot be bothered to head to Nipton and deal with Furry McPherson for the Legion. After briefly stepping inside the Recon headquarters and realizing I didn't have enough science to get through the doors, I would head over to Camp McCarran and struggle through the monorail glitch once more. Long-time viewers of the channel will know that I hate this part. Regardless, I made it inside the monorail, crashed, and then made it to the tops to hear that sweet, beautiful, what in the goddamn? Oh, but wait, I didn't actually get to hear that because, as you can guess, I crashed so much and OBS flunked so much that I don't have a recording for it. Regardless, I used my 10 luck to gamble at each and every casino I could find, leaving with a comfortable amount of caps.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar.
Also, you know how I said I wasn't gonna bother with Furry McPherson? Well, I decided I'd just kill him anyways when he came right up into my face because I don't like him. I then proceeded to talk to my favorite NPC in the game, Old Ben, and after cleaning out the Atomic Wrangler, I would head to the Kings just to proceed the side quest because I was going to be siding with the NCR. And now I don't know if I have the footage for it, but my main weapon of this run is going to be the medicine stick because it is very expensive yet very, very good, especially with a high luck stat. I also picked up Maria, as you could guess, because that's what I killed Florian McPherson with. and I would also try and get other trinkets and tidbits along the way. Progressing with the Oris escort quest, I would decide just, fuck it, I was going to shoot one of the thugs in the head. I was not prepared for them to actually give me some trouble. It wasn't exactly the thugs, it was mainly Oris with his hunting revolver, which I did not realize did that much damage. Regardless, I kept on helping the king, and was begrudgingly forced to socialize with the low-level scum of Freeside, because I wanted to get this quest over and done with for the NCR as quickly as possible. Skipping to the end of the quest because it's boring and we all know how it goes, I would then try and storm the Repcon headquarters only to run out of ammo because these sentry bots were way above my pay grade for what I had right now. Not one to be deterred by a lack of all munitions, I would march my way right through Mr. House's defenses and just execute him basic bitch style. Then my lord and master, Ambassador Dennis Crocker, sent me off to the Boomers to recruit them for his new army. And I was about to headshot George. I was about to headshot George. And then I used VATS to kill George. And then I killed George. Now serving a new master in the form of Pearl, I would help out the Boomers by fixing one of Doc Argyll's patients, listening to little Timmy talk about how much he loves genocide, convincing a young lady that my friend here wasn't a psychopath, turns out I was, and then lifting the bomber out of Lake Mead. Oh, but not before having to fight off the entire lake's population of lake lurks. At this point, I was now at level 10 and was still leveling up my science and guns so that I could get access to the Q35 matter modulator, and then I also took the Nerd Rage perk just for some, added buffs when I was at inevitably low HP. And then in true Bridgetroll fashion, the NCR Ranger that gives you the emergency radio just straight up appeared from the Shadow Realm. But don't worry, assuming I haven't lost the footage, this isn't the last we've seen of him. Because I had already helped the king before, I was able to just cash in his favor like that, and then I was done with the quest and ready to move on. And then I ran into the NCR Ranger again. I believe he is going to be a recurring character. Arcade friggin' Gannon. Now I knew from the very start that I wanted to recruit him at some point because he gives a very, very good set of power armor that is also unique. And I believe it is the only power armor in the game that is unique. And no, the Remnant's power armor does not count because other Remnants can have it. So I would be dying to get his attention, and unfortunately because I wasn't A, a man, and B, charismatic, I was going to have to spec into speech a lot. Now, this was about the point where I lost the majority of the run. But essentially, the only thing you missed was that I exterminated the Great Khans, wiped out the Brotherhood, saved President Kimball, and destroyed the Legion. Now, for the rest of the run until I entered the DLC, I would just be going along and doing miscellaneous quests to get my speech up so that I could persuade Arcade Gannon into joining my party. The first of these quests would be helping Corporal Betsy stop being PTSD'd. Yeah, I know, sounds kinda crude, but well, that's basically what it was. The second quest would be a continuing quest, where I would companion with Rex, the good boy, so that I could fix his brain and get a bit of extra XP. The third side quest, and I say this in quotation marks because it technically isn't a quest, would be where I would hunt down and kill the mercenaries with the YSC something something gun. Essentially a really, really good Gauss rifle. As a part of Rex's quest, I would be heading up to Jacobstown so that I could get the doctor to fix his brain, and along the way I would also murder some legionaries. During this expedition, I would level up to level 16 and take tag to further my speech goals, and I would also mark the Remnant's bunker along the way because I knew that I was going to need it. Taking Rex to the doctor, I would be informed that he would need a completely new puppet brain. And, well, I couldn't be bothered to kill one of Violet's dogs or Caesar's dogs, so I was just gonna buy it off old Lady Gibson because I was loaded. Well, that was disturbing. After that horrifying display of puppet cruelty, Marcus had a little problem that would be fixed for 3,000 caps. Now, hang on, I know some of you may think I'm a monster.
Turns out I was.
But if I have an opportunity to line my pockets a little bit thicker, you best believe I'm gonna take it. I then attempted to translate Ray's brain into Rex's, and the reason why I say attempted is because of... Recovering from that awful crash, I then had to bid farewell to Rex because I was going to be sweet-talking Arcade Ganon pretty damn soon. To get some more XP to persuade Arcade Ganon, I was going to be doing the crazy quest, which essentially only needed me to just kill a bunch of super mutants and, deal with Raoul.
Alrighty then. I'll just head out, alone, by myself, into the dangerous waste. If by some chance you want to find me again, and if by some even greater chance...
I'm sure he'll be fine. Temporarily heading to the Divide, I would pick up the Riot gear and Riot helmet just for that extra bit of protection, and yes, it is unique. And then where else would I go but to the Fiend territory, because I had some heads that I needed to collect. Dravenify was up first, and he was predictably easily considering he was melee only. And then Cook and Violet also went down without a hitch. Let's just say Major Dartrey was more than pleased, resulting in my pockets being a little bit heavier and my speech quite a lot better. Now, thanks to having Benny's suit, I was able to push my speech just over the limit to get Arcade Ganon to join me. But apparently I had more important things to do because I was purchasing all of Gennaro's stock and putting his kids all the way through the Freeside College. Now that Arcade Ganon was by my side, I would be completing any quest I could just to get some XP because all I knew was that you just had to do stuff with him to get his quest to activate. I didn't actually know that there were certain Arcade Ganon points that you could collect. But this took me all the way to Camp Forlorn Hope, which desperately needed my help. I would begin with the medical tent quest where you had to catch a private sneaking out some Hydra. And all I knew was that he would just appear at midnight somehow, and I usually just used the wait mechanic. But I actually didn't end up seeing him for many nights. Maybe it was because I was skipping too far, I don't know, but I actually had to just search it up in the end because he was not appearing. Next was the godforsaken radio quest, which had me trudge across the Mojave to each and every ranger station they had. And let's just say I hate this quest, not just for the long walks, but also because the comms officers all are just such assholes. Now, there were some dangerous ranger stations though, mainly the ones that made me crash, and the ones that took me through Searchlight. Now, I say took, but I didn't actually have to go through there, I just wanted to go through there just for Knock Knock, the unique fire axe. Who knows why I actually wanted it, but my neglect of my radiation was my ultimate downfall many times. Apparently, the radiation sickness must have given me amnesia though, because I just immediately forgot about being put on life support from it. And that's why I went straight into Vault 34 to get the All-American. But the thing is, I had not gotten any right away.
Oh no!
Because I thought, oh, it's just gonna be an in and out, which it wasn't. And by the time I actually got to the All-American, I was using saves just to look around. I was dying that quick from the radiation. And then so when I eventually did find it, I booked it out of there with only 20 points left. Returning to the RepCon headquarters for the third time, I would only be doing this just to trigger some dialogue with Arcade Ganon to get some more of those Ganon points. Going to the camp searchlight area, I would be wandering around for a crashed vertibird somewhere that I heard had a lot of Ganon points awaiting it, and all the wiki told me was that there was just somewhere around there, but you know, it was actually pretty far off, so I just kind of wandered around aimlessly killing things. Before doing that though, for some reason I just decided to finish off the radio NCR quest. And so, you know, I spoke to the last asshole comm officer, and then returned to Reyes. Now, I've confronted Chief Hanlon about this situation at Camp Golf before, and in that one, I let him kill himself because I wanted his revolver. But I decided I like this guy, I want him to live, so I managed to convince himself to just, you know, be a good boy and don't hurt yourself. I finally made my way to the vertibird, where I was not expecting the robots to hold up this much of a resistance. I mean, I know they are hardened and they're pretty plentiful, but I was stunned by how much of a fight they were putting up. I even saved, like, before anything bad could happen because I was not sure I was going to make it out alive. Discovering this kick-ass looking shoulder-mounted thingy-mabob, Arcade Ganon surprised me with another bit of his mysterious backstory dialogue about how edgy he is in the Enclave, like we're not all Fallout fans and know exactly what they are. And then he finally started his quest, and I was able to get his gloriously good armor. But first I would need to talk to Daisy Whitman, Arcade Ganon jump scare, Cannibal Johnson, Orion Morano, Dr. Henry, and Judah Krieger. Talking to the remnants revealed that Moreno was not pleased with my plan to help the NCR. So he went, NCR? More like lame CR. So I killed him and After that, my mission was finally complete, and I had received the best armor in the game for this current build. Now that I had this armor, nothing could get in my way. Oh, except that. Honestly, this wheel spin was pretty good this time around. It yielded one of the best results. I mean, but to me, anything but dead money is a good result. Beginning honest hearts like everybody else, I watched as my caravan got brutally slaughtered by the Whitelegs, and then met up with the other tribal men, whatever his name is. Following Follow's chalk to the Virgin River had us come across the giant Yaoguai who flung a gecko at us. And I don't take kindly to having geckos flung at me, so I iced it and its kids. The rest of the trip there was pretty peaceful, other than me overestimating my bone density, until I finally met the Bone Man himself, Joshua Graham. At this point I was level 22, so I decided to just take the Irradiated Beauty perk because it's just an all-round good perk. As per usual, the first event was getting the Broken Compass because it's the closest, and all it required me was to just drop down to a wrecked out bus and just take it with me. The next part of the quest was to get the 2 walkie-talkies, which once again was easy, only requiring me to wipe out some local vermin and collect them from a cabinet. My laziness once again got to me, as on the way to the next part of the quest, I overestimated my bone density once more. I eventually did make it to the next station, and then almost went crazy looking for the lunchboxes, which I swear were not there. Now, I just want to clarify about almost at the end of the run, that during this DLC I didn't really pick up many unique items because the only one I could actually really think of was the bear claw that you get from taking those drugs and fighting the flaming Yaoguai. And I'm not a melee build, so that would have been pretty useless to me. At the start, I also did drop most of my weapons, only keeping the ones that I thought would be the most useful or that weren't the most damaged. I eventually made my way to the Sorrows camp, which is my least favorite tribe in all of New Vegas. Not because there's anything inherently wrong with them, but for one, they're tribals, and for two, they mourn everybody and I don't know, care about feelings, and no matter what I do for them, they always end up either killing a bunch of other people or just getting wiped out and being real sad. Like, geez Louise, bro, pick a struggle. Wakenclad trying to join my party, but that was not happening. And so, you know, I ditched her because, hey bro, she for the streams. Getting the Grand Staircase holotape map was understandably easy, so I'll just skip by that quick. Next was to exterminate the Whitelegs camps, which was actually really easy just killing them, but the main issue came from this one roided up giant Yaoguai that was absolutely molly stomping me. I eventually killed that first Yaoguai, only to find out that at the other camps there was another one, and then for me to crash under the sheer force of one of the storm drummers exploding. Doing it all again, I managed to get a very lucky crit on the second Yaoguai, and then exterminate the rest of the scum with no trouble at all. At level 24, the next perk I would take would be solar powered, as I entered the Yaoguai cave and was ready for hunting season. In the next order of business, I would be choosing to side with Daniel and helping the Saurus escape. Now technically I'm not breaking the rules because Joshua Graham is a fixed companion, but we went full Black Ops mode and decided to lay waste to all the Whitelegs we came across. And then when it came to confront Salt Upon Wounds, I gave him no chance to react and instantly domed his ass with 2 shots to the head. And so when it came to taking the map from Daniel, I completely forgot about the sorrows that you were supposed to get. And I wasn't bothered to get him back, so I just went through with it. So with the end credits playing, and the Sorrows and Dead Horses more or less safe, and a Light and Shining Darkness and a bunch of other unique goodies safely in my pouch, I was all done with this run. Well, now what?